Indiana Hunter is brought to you by Native Crossbows, Black Horse Custom Rods, Whisker Wear Apparel, TM Game Calls. Welcome to Indiana Hunter. For this show, we headed to Monticello, Indiana to Lake Schaefer. You know, the last video we put out, we told you we were showing the real outdoors. How if we only caught a couple fish all day, we would show it to you. Well, this is probably going to be the longest video we'll ever produce. We went out and we had the best day of catfishing we've probably ever had. We didn't catch a bunch of great big cats, but we were channel catfishing, and we started catching fish at 10 in the morning all the way till 6 at night. We couldn't go maybe 20-25 minutes without getting a bite, and most of the action happened a lot faster than that. It was a lot of fun. We had a great day on the water, so this is going to be a quite lengthy show, so if you're going to start watching this, it's going to take a while. Enjoy.
Okay, we're over here. It's the last weekend of March. About 24 foot of water. We're back over at Monticello. Water temperature is 41 degrees.
He'd come towards the boat with it. I was off thinking, that's kind of why I just started reeling up on it. He was walking it towards the boat. The first fish of the day. Not a bad one to start the day off on. It's a lot bigger fish than we were catching a week ago. There was that shad head, and that bait's almost a year old. It's been sitting in the freezer for a long time. That's kind of a yellow colored channel cat. A nice one. He's probably 4 pounds. Nice fish. We'll keep throwing some of these shad heads, and we'll keep trying other baits and see if that's what they're choosing today. But they're definitely hitting soft. It was one of those, we saw the rod just barely dinking and kept reeling into it, but he was walking it to the boat. That's why I had to keep reeling so far. We'll get him back in the water. A few years, that'll be a real nice channel cat. Got another one dinking this pole right here. Well, he was. There he is. I'm just gonna reel into him. Another one on. This one's on that same shad head. I just took it and threw it right back in. Yeah, he's a little bit bigger than the last one. Yeah, that's a bigger fish than the last one for sure. That one might go 6.5, 7 pounds. He's a pretty nice fish, but look at the belly on him. Rock hard belly. He's definitely feeding up. Just coming off this winter, it's time they really get going. We haven't seen a lot of shad floating around dead here, but that's probably what they're feeding up on them. We'll keep after it. They keep getting bigger at that rate. We'll have a real good day. He's off. Grow up. We'll catch him again next year. This is what you like to turn around and see. This is another piece of cut shad. Reel into him, make sure he's hooked. On there. This one was actually a midsection I cut off of a shad. It wasn't the head. Hook out there. Another little channel cat. I mean, they're fun to catch. I mean, give him a couple years and he'll be like that bigger one we caught. So we'll get him back in the water, and I think we're going to start baiting up with shad. That seems to be what they're hitting.
3 fish just came off the same side of the boat, all on cut shad, all out away from the bank in deeper water. There's a sandbar out there in a channel, and all 3 fish have come from there. So we're just going to reel in and go get on that. We're just going to position the boat where we can get all 6 rods right in that same area as to where the fish are coming out of, and see if we get into some faster action.
The line's dancing a little bit, so I'm going to reel into him. There he is. He was coming all the way back to the boat. Big tail, it's a good fish. Big old channel cat. Big channel cat. See if I can get a hold of him before that hook pops out. That is a big channel cat. That is by far the biggest fish of the year. I'm gonna have to get a picture with him and then we'll get him back in the water. Swam away good.
Heath was reeling his in and this pole was hooked up the whole time. Oh, he's not hooked well. It's been a good day so far. I mean, it is no comparison to that channel that Heath just pulled in, but this lake's been a lot of fun. That actually came off of a minnow. Been sitting out there for a little bit, but we'll get back at it and see what happens.
Like we got another one. Taking this one down. Reel into him. Yep, he's on there. This was cut shad again. That was a light colored channel. Look how thick that fish is. Like I said, he's not real long, but that's another one that has that belly that's just bloated, full. Evidently this weekend's the time they're feeding up. You know, today the high is only 35 degrees. It's pretty cold out here. We're lucky the wind's not blowing hard, but it's been a good day of fishing. We're not gonna quit. Another nice fish, we'll get him back in the water. This pole just bent over pretty good and it stopped. It's acting funny, so got these circle hooks. I'm just gonna reel into it real slow. These fish have been swimming at us a lot today. There he's getting heavy. Got another one on. You see that one? We got a double right now. I'll get this fish in the boat and I'll get this other pull. This fish has got some fight in him. Fun day on the water. Ooh, he's barely hooked. See if we get him in. I'll go ahead and reel in this other fish real quick. You can't beat that. Double up. This looks like another nice channel. Not hooked very good, so we'll hope he gets in here. At least it doesn't look like it. Looks like a big male. Looks like he's got the big V head on him. Maybe it's not. I think this fish hooked a little better than I thought he was, but I'm gonna pull the hook out of his mouth. First double of the year. Right there, and this is a healthy channel cat. That's probably a 8.5, 9 pound channel cat right there. We'll get him back in the water and keep after it. My hands are slimy from holding these fish, so I'm actually going to use the wrist strap on this. Pole bent over pretty good and it let right up. And the line was dancing, so as often as they've been walking back to us, I'm going to reel down on it and see if he's just not moving with it or sitting still. There's another fish on it. There's another one with one of those big plump bellies on it. And those stomachs are just rock hard on these fish. So I think we hit the timing perfect this weekend. It was a good day to be out here. We'll let them go and let them grow up. Watch this one. It's getting tapped again. Like most of the fish today, they're not just bending the rod over and going real hard. Just got to reel into them, I guess. That's just kind of how it's gone today. There he's pulling on a little bit, so it's real slow and let that hook set. There it is. Sitting in 24 foot of water. The fish are just piled up in this deeper hole right now. It's nothing like we were catching a week ago. A week ago, we could not buy a fish this big, so it's been a good day. We were just contemplating on leaving this spot because it'd been about 45 minutes since we had a bite, but we just caught another fish, so we may hang out here a little bit longer and see what happens.
Fish keeps hitting this rod. There's just not enough pressure on it to get hooked. I'm going to try Heath's reeling into him trick here in a minute. Just see what happens. And he's got pressure on it, but I don't believe for a second that fish is hooked up. That rod's awful light. Yeah, he's hooked. So I don't know if it was reeling into him or whether he just had it in his mouth and was sitting still. It's shad gut. It seems like every time we throw shad gut, we catch little channel cats. And that's what we got off of it. Oh, and he comes off. But hook full of shad gut. And it always produces. Whenever the water's cold, it seems like this shad gut will catch fish. Well, that's two of them. Heath's reeling and working on. But this is that pole that I keep putting shad guts on. And as long as I keep throwing the shad guts, that's probably what we'll catch. As long as the shad guts keep going. Ah, you can have them, buddy. You earned them. That fish didn't mess around. We were just talking about how these fish were hitting light today, and we missed seeing poles bend over. I could have about left that one in the rod holder just to watch him bend that pole. The rod is fairly light, so it makes the fish look bigger than what it is, but I sure love watching them rods bend like that. That's a pretty good channel cat. Yeah, I don't know what that fish would go. It's a little over 10 pound probably. That's a pretty nice channel cat. Come off of a center section of Chad, just like about everything else has today. So I think we get a picture with that fish, and we're gonna put this fish back now. We got another rod back there getting hit, and we're gonna see what happens. And he's off. That's probably the best part of holding one of them fish, is watching it swim away. Shad Gut strikes again. We're in another spot. We just keep moving. Keep doing the same thing, hitting the same kind of depths, and fish just keep coming. These fish have all been wintered up. Every fish we've caught today, his belly is just covered in mud. I mean, you can see the mud down here on this one where he's been down feeding on the bottom. And we think what's happening is all the winter killed shad have sunk. And they're laying down there. The fish are only coming from places with mud bottoms. They aren't coming from anywhere that's got rocks. So that's where the electronics come in handy. Get an idea what the bottom looks like. Turn around and look at the mud on that fish. You see it up here, clear up in the sides. But turn around and we get an idea what that bottom looks like. You know, looking off the sonar return, and everything's been on mud, everything's been in deep water. So we've established a pattern. As long as we stick to that pattern, we keep catching fish. So we'll keep trying it and see what happens. Unless he's down in the grass for a shad gut fish, it feels pretty decent. Beautiful. I am not accustomed to catching decent channel cats on shad guts. And while I'm sitting here holding this fish, I just want you to know that he's pole over here, rod tip's just about touching the water.
Pulling on it. I think we got a hook up on this one. Of course, about the time I say that he's not very big, he starts fighting. We'll see. Get him in the anchor rope. Wow, that's a nice channel. He is barely hooked, so I don't know if we'll get him or not here. I have proven today that I can't tell you how big a fish is by the fight. Actually, I want you to see this. This is a foul hooked fish. I didn't even catch him in the mouth. You can see that? It went through the top. So technically, if you were fishing a tournament, you'd have to turn this fish loose. But since we're not tournament fishing, we get to claim that we caught him. Get out of him without hurting him. There's another nice channel cat. Big old belly on him. And this fish probably go 6.5, 7 pounds again. These fish are just loaded up and heavy. We're gonna get him back in the water and let him grow. I saw Jason smirking, so I'm guessing another pole over here was getting bent over.
He's hooked up, that line's tight. It's wrapped up in a line, you can feel him spinning. Once again, another shad gut fish. It doesn't produce big channels, but it sure produces a lot of them in cold water. And it's, once again, all mud covered, and it's been fun.
There's another one. Down to about 24. Just keep hitting them in the same spots. Ooh. That's the easiest way to release him. Problem is, he ran this hook clear in my finger when he did that. But there it was. It was a shad head. We'll just make sure it's on there good and get it right back out in the water. I'd say that one's hooked up. He's got that piece of bait all chewed up. Right in the corner of the mouth like a circle hook should do. How light colored that fish is. It's a pretty little fish. We'll get him back in the water, let him grow up. I'll show you this piece of bait. They're pretty aggressive for the water being this cold. He's kind of got it all squished up, but that's a fairly big piece of bait. I think I'll freshen that one up, get it back out. Another one taking off. I just freshened this one up and put it back in the water. I just caught another fish on this pole and it hasn't been in the water 3 or 4 minutes probably. Same thing. A piece of cut shad. I believe this fish may have hooked through the top of the mouth like the one we had before. Nope, this one's in his mouth. I couldn't save my bait, but here's another one that the belly's just great big on, real hard. We're thinking that these year-old shad we had are why the fishing's been so good for us, for one thing. When you think about it, the winter kill shad sitting on the bottom blowing around, that's what these fish are feeding on. So freezer burnt bait, maybe that's the way to go. We're I don't know, we got about 2 hours worth of daylight here. We may stay out for another hour. We'll see what happens. We're hoping we can catch a couple more of those big ones.
That's the way I like to see them hit. Just bend it over. Don't monkey around. Just get it in your mouth. There's days that we get out here and we start catching fish, and we'll show you a video that's got 8 or 9 fish in it, and it may have taken all day, but the video's, 7 or 8 minutes long. It looks like we had some hot rod action. It's not always the case, but today has been nothing but hot rod action. I mean, we hit the weather perfect. Another nice little channel cat. And I don't know what to say. Every day of fishing should be like today, and they're just not. So we're thankful when we get these days.
Got one bouncing it here. I'm waiting for him just to pull on it. Just good enough I can reel into him. There's good enough. There, we got him. Feels like a good one. I've been wrong a couple times today, but it's hard to tell. These fish have been fighting weird. See if I can grab him with fish grip. See how he's kind of lighter? This one's not real blue, but we catch a lot of channel cats that out of here that are really blue, and I have never seen a blue cat come out of this lake, and we have a lot of guys tell us they catch blue cats. I've even had people sending me pictures, and sometimes you got to explain to them, they're channel cats, but they'll come out looking blue color. And I mean, this one's not real blue. We've caught some out of here that are just gorgeous, but you got to look at the anal fin on them. Anyways, that is a nice channel cat. Great big hard belly on him. I don't know if this is parasites or what it is, but right by his eyeball, you can see that by his mouth. I'm guessing those are just little parasites. Not real sure what those are. Nothing to worry about, but another great fish. We'll get him back in the water, let him grow up.
Bite's starting to slow down, but they're still biting, so I guess we're gonna sit here a little while longer, see what happens. This one's got more of those little leechy looking things around its mouth too, if you could see it in there. But we caught one earlier that had them coming out its nose. We'll have to look into it a little bit and see what they are. It's been a great day. A pretty fish, doesn't have a mark on him. So let him go and watch him grow.
Set up, saw this pole getting ahead again. Waiting for him to touch it a little more. They're not just taking off with it and bending over and hooking themselves. Gotta get into them a little. You can see he's just tapping it. There he is. Go into him. And another one. Cut shad. Healthy looking little fish. Right there it is, the shad head. Put them down. This one's got those little parasites on it too. Never seen fish out of here come with those parasites on them, so like Jason said, we're gonna look into that and figure out what's going on with that. Never seen them before. Look at the mud on their bellies. Now he talked about that before, but everywhere we're fishing, it's a mud bottom. Rock bottom, we didn't catch anything on it besides one little channel, so I don't know what causes them to be in the muck bottom like that, but that's where they're at right now. Get them back in the water.
Sitting in the back of the boat, talking about this rod not getting hit since we've been here. And pretty soon it's rattling around on the rod holder pretty good. Feels like fish. Nice channel. Real nice channel. Oh! That was the dumbest thing I've done in a long time. That was a big channel cat. It's really a pretty nice little channel. It's got more of those parasites, leeches, whatever they are on it. Got a couple sores on his tail, but it's a nice fish. Just really hoping there's more hooked up.
The action just hasn't stopped today. That fish was coming at us fast. To catch fish like this all day long and be happy. That's probably the most yellow fish we've caught all day. Kind of a neat color. This has been an awesome day. We keep saying that, but this is the best day we've had in a long time fishing. It's a lot of fun to get out here and catch fish like this. I mean, we were happy last week catching a whole bunch of little ones, and this just makes your day. We'll get them back in the water and see if we can catch some more. We had 3 poles hitting at one time. See if we can get a triple. We pulled off a double. We'll see if we can get that done. Just pull a little bit more. We'll reel into him. There he's pulling. It's not a very big fish, but he had some fight in him. I don't know if you can see, but that fish is really yellow. That's pretty neat. Haven't seen one that color all day. We'll get him back in. He could be a monster in a couple of years.
Yes, he's just sitting there sucking on the bait. Lake Schaefer has been good to us today. I mean, the fish gods are just working in our favor here. And it's about time. We spent a lot of days out that we don't have days like this. And it sure is enjoyable when they come on.
There's one on here that's just been bouncing it like that. I think he's on there, so we'll reel in. Yep, we got him. Another great catfish. It's been a great day. A little bit of daylight left. Hopefully we get a couple more in the boat.
We got another one over here. Just dinking away. That is more the channel cats I'm used to catching on Shad Gut. All the good fish today have been off cut shad. This Shad Gut's just as productive as it is for the most part. It's just for entertainment. Just for entertainment, something to do in the waiting for the big fish to hit. But we'll take him. We'll take all we can get.
They bent it over pretty good. We haven't had many today bend the rod hard, but he's got to be on there the way he bent it over. Yep, he is. It was nice to see one actually take it and bend the rod over hard. I've only had a couple do that all day. This guy's wanting to stay down. Fight in him. But we're starting to run out of daylight, so I think we're going to get out of here. It's starting to get cold. I mean, it's already down to like 25 or 26 degrees, so we got a little boat ride back. We'll freeze if we don't get out of here soon. It's been a great day. Enjoyed it. Wish every fishing trip was like this.
Thank you to everybody who watched this video all the way through. That means a lot to us. I know this was a long video, but it's not very often we get days like this, and we wanted to show you that it's possible. I mean, we just feel privileged to have a day like this on the water. I mean, it's one of those days that probably doesn't happen but every 4 or 5 years. It had been 3 or 4 years since we had a day like this. We were out on Lake Freeman a few years ago, and I believe we caught 36 fish. But we just don't get days like that, so we wanted to show it to you. Thank you for watching, and please check out our sponsors. Check out their Facebook pages, check them out on Twitter, and if you have any questions for us, just send us a message on Facebook. Thanks for watching, and thanks for supporting Indiana Hunter.